Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode on Upthrust. My name is Tejiri, and my co-host is.
My name is Precious. Yeah.
So, guys, today we have a conversation that is a little bit confusing for most, but I want us to actually indulge and dive into this and probably find a way out. And the question is for today is why am I not allowed to be emotional as a masculine man?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
Wow.
that's a big one. I know
It's a big one.
everyone definitely has their own opinion
It's a
about
big one.
this
It's a big one.
conversation.
Yeah.
So my question to you is what is masculinity in the first place?
The definition of masculinity is relative. All
Yeah.
right. So it means a lot of things to different people. All
Mhm.
right. So I would say masculinity has to do with the social expectation of a man. All right.
Mhm.
So this expectation can be that a man can be a superhero.
Mhm.
So which takes a man out of being a human being. So it means as a man, you're not expected to have a low time in your life, a low moment, or what we call downtime. You're not expected to, be defeated in any way. So you're expected to keep winning and winning and winning. So for me, that's what I think in a simple way.
So you guys, in my own understanding, what he's saying is it's like a man has to be perfect. A man has to be up and doing.
Yeah.
And society has kind of carved a way a man should be.
Yeah.
For me, I think masculinity, it's like you not being soft, regardless of whatever situation you find yourself, be it in your relationship or in front of your family
Yeah.
or friends. And there's a little saying in the society that say men don't cry.
Yeah.
And I think
Strong
that has
message.
made most men to be inhuman because they're so far off, they're not in touch with their emotion.
Yeah.
And I think, me personally, my own opinion, I don't know about you guys
Yeah.
though, but I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's totally wrong.
Yeah.
So, but when they say men don't cry, how do you feel about that?
So, TJ, while we're doing this, so our teaming audience is there, and I feel like if you have a lot of things you have to say,
Yeah.
because we're just giving our opinion, so go ahead and hit the comment section and actually tell us your opinion on what we're saying as the conversation goes keep going.
Yeah.
All right. So when you talk about that, I think we don't take care of our emotions as men. So we overlook that because of the what society and how we, some of the examples that we've seen. Because the funny thing is that there's an expectation from the society about how a man should look like and how a man should not look like. But meanwhile, what makes us complete? People say what makes you complete? They say a lot of things, but part of it is the emotion of a man, and that is something that we overlook a lot. So I think from the perspective, we have to also talk about that emotion.
Okay, so moving on. For me, I have some few questions for you.
Wow.
Is it, and
Patience.
also the audience.
Yeah.
Is it okay for a man to be emotional? So, in my own perspective, I'm just gonna give you maybe a narrative. Yeah. So you find yourself probably in a relationship,
Okay.
and you're hurting,
Okay.
and you need to express yourself, but because you're a man and what the society has
Yes.
made a man should,
Yeah.
how we should be and how we should act,
Yeah.
you're not able to express yourself. So it's a good thing that you can't express yourself as a man, or even in quote cry
Yeah.
in front of your partner or your family.
Yeah, so I feel like for me, on my personal opinion, all right,
Yeah.
everybody have their opinions. Okay, I feel like it's okay for you to be able to express yourself, express your emotions around people you love. In quotes, people who love you and people you love, because I think it creates a safe space. There was a research I read about in the school of Harvard University,
Yeah.
and they said if you bring about 10 men, 8 of them are carrying baggages of emotions into their relationships. And so most times the issues that people have in their relationship most times is coming from also the place of emotions,
Yeah.
because men don't want to look okay. Let's talk about the impression aspect of relationship, where people want to look strong because they're meeting this person for the first time and they have butterflies in their belly because they're in love and all of that. So I think it's okay for people to really express themselves, and the expressions have different ways, but I feel like it's okay based on what you asked me. It's okay if you're a man and if you're watching this and it's okay for you to express yourself around people you love.
Don't you think that that makes you, like you said in the beginning, that don't make you look weak?
So like this is I'm happy because this is an open-ended question we're asking,
Yeah.
and even the audience, they can keep typing on their own comment section. But the thing is, if you have a man in your life, and if you're a man watching this, all right,
Mm-hmm.
one of the most important thing that you need to realize is that your emotions are important, okay? And it's okay for you to look at, like, I mean, express it. Like, most times, like for instance, an example, I've had people who lost their jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and they were so scared of telling their wives or telling their their
Mm-hmm.
fiancé or their girlfriends. They were so scared of doing that because they felt like, if I say that, it's gonna make me look weak. So I'm not even gonna tell the person that I don't have any money with me, so I'm just gonna keep sourcing up money, trying to make it. Meanwhile, the other partner is ready to help, is ready to so these things are part of the things that if you don't express your emotions rightly, remember I said rightly, you would actually see yourself on the other side, and you will struggle with it.
So, with all you've said,
Yeah.
when can a man, because you're saying it's okay,
Yeah.
it's okay for you to cry, audience, I don't know, because personally, I'm an emotional person.
But there's a way men don't cry. Like men have a way they cry.
So, how can we express our emotions? Because you're saying, for me, like I'm seeing this conversation
Yeah.
tilting towards it's okay, but it's not okay.
Yeah.
So, how can a man express his emotion? Bearing in mind, because the society has made men to be I think I'll pick your word superhero, but
Superhero.
there's this context of being an alpha male.
Yes.
And when it comes to relationship, your partner wants to see strength,
Yes.
and partner wants to see a born leader. But is it a situation? Is it something where you say leaders or an alpha male cannot be in touch with his emotions?
Yeah, so an alpha male, it's okay to be in touch with your emotions. So as I said earlier on, all right, men, we have emotions, but the way we express it is different. And that is one thing we need to acknowledge. You understand? You might not necessarily cry like maybe like a baby and skip weeping and all of that.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. But I mean, like there are different ways we express ourselves when it comes to our emotions. For instance, like personally, I have been hurt in my life. I've had one, people, turn their backs against me and all of that. And I feel like, I mean, there was nobody there. All right. So what did I do? Even when I go to my partner, I didn't just start crying, oh, help me and all of that. No, there was a way I was moody and I was able to talk. So sometimes our emotions can be expressed through communication. You understand? So sometimes your crying can be your talking. And sometimes I've seen myself talking and I've seen tears run down my cheeks. And that helped me a lot. And I could hear my partner saying, release it.
Yeah.
Right? Release it, just release it. And then, most times men groan. That's sometimes they are groaning, and like, I mean, they're not crying like maybe a baby and all that. So so crying can be communication. All right.
Yeah. So I can relate it to myself personally. My personal, I'm like I mentioned, I'm very emotional.
Yeah.
And I think most times I've had partners that probably get to see this emotional part of me.
Yeah.
And I can remember one of my relationship, I was going through a lot. I was having a crisis, and I tried to express myself by crying because I can let out tears sometimes. And she was confused.
Yeah.
She didn't know what to do. And I could see that took us a little bit back because she didn't understand, why should a man cry?
Yeah. Yeah.
And moreover, I still got another partner.
Yeah.
And when I expressed my pain
Yeah.
and I shed some
So
tears.
so when you say partner, because of the audience, they might feel like maybe partner, maybe you've had a divorce and all of that.
No, girlfriend.
People you've
My
dated.
girlfriend, yeah, dated people I've dated. And sorry, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And she was comfortable. She knew the right words to say. She comforted me.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, she said, thank you for expressing yourself.
Okay.
Thank you for showing me this part of yourself. And that brings me to the point where I feel you made mention of communication.
Yeah.
Most men don't know how to communicate to
I
their
can agree with you on
partners.
that. Yeah. Sure.
And telling your partner, probably in a narrative, probably in a conversation, and say, when I go through something, this is how I react. Sometimes I cry, even though I've been trying to learn and unlearn, but my emotions get the best of me. Just you saying that to your partner out of context, not probably writing it in a text, or maybe just in a little conversation. Your partner knows that this is the kind of man I'm dealing with. But most men try to cover up everything and try to be the alpha, maybe the superhero, according to what Precious say, and their partners do not know when they're vulnerable, not know when they need to step in to say, you know what, I got you.
Yes.
That's something most men don't know how to express.
Yes.
And if you have to be fair on your partner, sometimes they get, like I said, they get confused. They don't know what to do. And you need to understand that it's a different person you're dealing with. They're coming from a different place. They know they've seen their model or ideal man might be someone who's uptight and straightforward. And you're coming and you're crying, and she's like, what is going on here? So I think communication is key when it comes to how do we express yourself. You can't be teaching a baby quantum science when a baby just wants to know ABC. So that still relates to how you should express your emotion. You should know the kind of partner. You should know your partner and know that this is what she can handle and this is what she understands. So I feel it's relative. It's actually relative. Your partner communicating in your relationship and understanding. Understanding. I read something. He said you can talk. Communication, you can talk to your partner, but comprehension is key. So even when you're talking or you're crying, she doesn't even comprehend the emotion, but knowing that this is my partner, this is how they react, this is how they do, and that would foster a good understanding and good way for men, a safe space for men to be able to express their emotions.
Exactly.
So this brings us to the point where we're talking about knowing how to express your emotion. How can you express your emotion? But we are from Africa, Nigeria to be precise, and the standard for men is you have to be a provider, you have to be strong. I'm a Robo, I know you're Igbo. I think it cut across all culture.
Everywhere.
So this, when it comes to emotion, I would coin it to say culture versus emotions.
So before we get that, say the inability for men to be able to express their emotions have led to the social problems we have today. So the social problem of we see people getting into many ways to actually even make money, even gender miscommunications. We have dealings. We have people that they want to experience pleasure in different ways because of lack of emotions, the lack of expressing their emotions rightly, and this thing is affecting people. I've seen people like a true life story. I've seen people that I used to know before. These guys were good people, all right? And because of they have a hit in their business, and then they had people in their life and they couldn't, because even you're talking about partners, even family.
Family.
There's a strong expectation from family to see you that, oh, you're the first son, oh, you're the last son, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, and they want you to like, oh no, be the El Shaddai, be the strength, everything, So it comes to that point where we need to actually really, come to that point where we're not saying men should be weak here. We're not saying that. Even the audience are like, we're not saying that.
I'm not saying you should.
But what we're saying is that we are human beings, and part of what makes you human is that you have an emotion. And concealing that emotion has really costed us a lot than even expressing it. And you discover that most men, when you check where they got it wrong, like as I was talking about this story, okay, these people actually, he lost a business deal over $100,000, all right, and then he sort of going back home or telling his friends, telling his family members, he felt like they already see him as a super provider, super this, super that, and that led him to get into a lot of drugs issues and all of that. And he said this was the way he could express himself. by spending more money, traveling, even getting himself self-harmed and all of that.
Okay. Yeah. So you can see that's why the question I was trying to ask is culture versus emotion. You see, where we're from, they've made it look like you should be up and doing, you should be an alpha male, you should be a provider. And I've come across not just one, not many, but most parents, especially the fathers, they do not have any relationship with their kids.
Amazing. Yeah. I have to clap for this, guys. This is tough, man.
Yeah, because
it's tough.
When you look at it, you talk to your friends. I'm fortunate to have a father that I've seen my father cry countless times. I've seen my father talk to me. And growing up, we have conversations. He can tell me his pain. He can tell me things that are hurting him from his family, maybe even my mom and all that. And growing up as a man now, we can sit down and talk about some personal stuff, and I could feel his pain. I could see when he talks to me, I can carry some of his burden. Like they said, a problem shared is a problem solved. Yeah. And when I talk to my friends, and I said, "What's your relationship with your father?" And they'll be like, what is there to be there with my father? I can remember my cousin, I think I was 16, and I was like, oh, me and my dad would talk about my relationship. Yeah. And she was like, all I know from my father is just to call him for school fees. Yeah. And that's it. So that has affected the society, like you said. So is it a cultural thing that men are tailored not to express their emotion because our culture has made us to see interacting even with family, let's not just say only relationship, interacting with your kids and expressing yourself, or parents being vulnerable around their kids, it's a no-no. Yeah. Is it culture? Is this something that we should attribute to, so because you're Nigerian or because you're African, an African man has to be this? But when you look at the Western world, you see fathers having those bonds with their kids, expressing, that is this, that. So what do you think about that?
So first of all, I'm going to direct this question to the audience too. Yeah. So guys, just in the comment section, what do you think about this? Okay. So I'm going to say my personal opinion here. Yeah. I think when it comes to culture simply means people's way of life. Yeah. So this means that in Africa, in Nigeria, in any culture we come from, we have a way of life. All right. So, and this way of life, definitely culture influences people, whether you like it or not. So if you're born in somewhere where they eat fish as a breakfast, like you eat fish for breakfast, you're going to wake up in the morning one day, every day of your life eating fishes until you change the environment you're at. So which means exposure creates that options and you choose what you want. So when it comes to, when you talk about emotions and culture, yes, I would say yes to that, because a culture has a lot to influence emotions, and because people don't really have a way. If you grow up if a boy child grow up having a father who is like a superhero, who doesn't cry, who doesn't do this, who doesn't really connect with him on that level, he will grow up at the same way, creating that same particular direction, that same line, that same path with their own children in the future. And that's how they're going to relate it, even in their marriage, in their relationships. And the truth is, I want to say this, I'm not a relationship expert, but I want to say this with my little experience, because every one of us have had places where we failed and places where we learned some things. I have failed in some certain things in my life. And one of the things that I used to pick myself up was to understand that most of the things that people go through in relationship, most of them are not coming from that particular relationship. They are coming from the place that they are better from. So from their families, that's where they're coming from. So these are the things that they learned innately from their parents, and they bring it in a relationship, and they think it's something that's happening to them. So sometimes it goes back to healing, treating yourself rightly. So I think that's how it works.
Okay, so if we've talked about how, when, culture, what defines a man. So I think...
So what defines a man? Can you actually talk about that?
Oh my goodness, you're putting me on the spot.
because it's a lot.
I think for me personally, a man is someone who, in the context we were talking about, a man is someone who's aware of his emotions, who can know when to act, and provide.
Yes.
A man is a provider,
Yes.
regardless.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
put it out there.
Yes. Mm.
A man should be someone who listens. A
Yeah.
man is someone who's in touch with his spirituality.
Yeah.
And a man is
a human.
it's a human. Yeah, that's why I think that's the right word. A man is still a human. It's a human.
Yes.
You need to be in touch with your emotions.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. From all indication, if you're listening to this, make sure you like this video, share and subscribe, because the information we're sharing here could change a life. And what we're driving at the end of the day is not that you're supposed to be weak as a man, but you're supposed to understand that your emotions are important. Tejiri, what do you think?
I think just a quick question. What's the balance when it comes to, because now we're saying a man should what a man should do. What's the balance?
So for me, the balance is simply saying that, like, irrespective of everything, that as a man, you still need to be able to sit up and take up, the challenges that come to you, rightly, and actually also take up your responsibilities, but also give room for the place for you to be able to actually express that emotion. So what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to express your emotion. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't stop you from being a man. As a matter of fact, it actually helps you to do better. If you're married, like me, if you have a partner, sorry, no verse. So no verse at the,
I understand
because
that.
you're singlehood. So
I have a girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend, single and Mancello, you're on the Mancello phase.
Okay.
So we call people who are almost there, Mancello. So at that phase where we are, I think it's important for you to have people in that safe space. I repeat, have people that you can literally, confide in, express yourself to, because you don't want to express yourself in places that, these are not even family or anything, and they're just gonna see you like this person is weak. They haven't seen you before. They don't know what you've done before. But the moment they see you in that state, vulnerable and all of that, they feel like, no, this guy is how I met this guy for the first time and this is how it is. So you don't want to do that. So you have to be careful also where you express those emotions.
Yeah, so that brings me to emotional intelligence. Because you said when and how people, you should know when to express it. So as a man, you should be emotionally intelligent. So you cannot go in front of a partner or family member or your child and they're going through stuff, or they can't handle such emotions, and you start expressing yourself, because you need to know what the person you're expressing yourself can handle. For me, I think in my relationship, I would say there are times when I know my girlfriend, she's going through her own stuff, and that's not the time for me to come with my emotions.
Yeah.
That's not the time for me to say, oh babe, this is what you did. But no. That's the time for me to be intelligent, to know, I know this person is going through his or her emotion. I have to have that emotional stamina.
Yes.
I think you're the one who told me about the meaning of emotional stamina.
Yeah.
So you have to have that emotional stamina to be able to hold your emotions, but not necessarily carrying it along.
Yeah,
you wait for the right time to express yourself. And mind you, audience, sometimes the right time is at that moment.
Yes.
We can never be too perfect.
Yeah.
There are times when the emotion is erupting and you just need to let it out. So even if with what we're saying, being intelligent, emotional stamina, the right time might be that moment. And there's always room for forgiveness. There's always room for you to apologize if that's going to make you comfortable. Because with all what we're trying to say, Precious, I think it's still, this emotional conversation still needs to be tied to our mental health.
Sure. So just to add to what you said, when you say being emotionally intelligent, I also have to add to what you said. I think something just came up to my mind. I mean, it's actually being like mentally proactive. You understand? So, which means that like you are smart enough. So we are looking at the context of, TJ talks about the context of a relationship when it has to do with the partner, even in the workplace. even in people you're working with. You understand? So I've had people who wanted to correct, like I've had bosses who wanted to correct their employees. All right.
Yeah.
And because they don't understand what it means to be emotionally intelligent, they couldn't read meaning into the moment, because we live in moments. All right. Every moment is special. This is a moment right now, so we absorb it. All right. So because they couldn't do it, and this is even it happens even in relationship. We've seen partners who wanted to correct their spouse, and they were doing the right thing, but the way they said the word they said is actually important too. All right. So these are all emotions. Okay. So being emotionally intelligent, you have to also understand this aspect that TJ had just said. All right. So, and when you talk about mental stamina, can you just let's just talk about it a little bit?
Mental stamina. That's what it. Mental stamina. It's what I would define emotional stamina or mental stamina is the ability to be able to absorb emotions and hold it, in the sense that before you express yourself, you have the strength to analyze. That's the right word. You have the strength, to the opportunity to say, you know what, even if I feel sad, I don't think Mr. A or Mrs. B would be able to understand if I express it right now. So it's like you taking a step back from the emotion you're going through and view it and have your own feedback, and in order for you to be able to express that emotion. Or do you have something?
Like, I feel like, because we're talking about the balance, guys, please go to the comment section and also say your own part, because we're all learning together. Okay. So because we have Gen Z, we also have the other
millennials.
We have the millennials. So we are just like, we want to create that balance, that connection. So when it comes to emotional stamina, just as you said, you understand. So what, for me, I feel like this is the balance. We should know that challenges always come. So like, this is the
regardless
of everything we said here today, we are going to go through challenges. You might even fail an exam. You might, the business you might not work. That's the rush of emotions. You might even plan out everything and you did the right thing, and still that relationship, maybe it didn't even come true. Your business partners might even work on you and all of that. The car might even you might just have a bash. A lot of things can happen. But we want to just let you know that challenges are part of the process. They are part of life. Now, how we deal with it matters. So where emotional stamina comes in is, will you react as a victim or will you react as a victor? So reacting as a victim, as a victor, is important, because things happen to everybody. Things happen to us.
As a man, all the men out there, even women, you can pick one or two things. Your emotions play a big role in how you interact with your world or your society. And speaking on this conversation, I think the take home today is how your emotions can affect your mental health as a man. You could see the narrative of partners, we knowing when to and how to express ourselves. Mental health is a big issue currently. It's a big concern for most people. Most homes have been broken because men don't know how to handle their emotions, and that leads to a mental breakdown and a lot of things, even putting a lot of pressure on our women, because most men who do not know who are not in touch with their emotions, tend to express it in ways that are not necessarily right, and that affects the family, the relationship. So for us, we really want to key on mental health, linking it with our emotions as men. As men, we should develop the fortitude to have emotional stamina, emotional intelligence, know when to, and at the same time know how to. That would go a long way in our conversations, in our interactions with everything. So for me, my take is, as a man, as a masculine man, you should be able to express yourself. you should know how to express yourself. And maybe you just really don't know that. Most women, it's funny. Most people, I wouldn't say, because maybe I'm always key on women and all that, but I should say, even as your family or your friends, your child, they're just waiting to know if you're actually human. If they're dealing with a person, you can't just be uptight or true.
Yeah, that's true.
I can say maybe some ladies, they're just waiting to see, when is this guy going to be vulnerable around me? That's just what they're waiting for. And you're there trying so hard to be a man. Calm down. I'll tell you, calm down. Express yourself. There's room for you to be an alpha male, then there's room for you to be human. But at the same time, the balance matters. You need to know when to and how to. You need to develop the fortitude to be able to handle some emotions and probably call that back to say, this is it. So Precious, for me, I'm a big advocate for mental health. And I think emotions, when it comes to men, play a major role. If you have anything to say to the audience today, and I would really...
I mean, like you said it all. So from where we're coming from, with mental health has become a big deal in today's world. And that is why we narrated this this question today. If it's okay as a man, masculine mind, to express our emotions. So, and I'm happy that we at least we did a little bit of it, and then we hope that our team in audience can actually help us in the comment section to maybe give us maybe their own perspective and their own views. And thank you so much for anchoring today.
Yeah, and thank you, audience, for listening. We know down the line we would want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. We will want to have a conversation, more of an interaction. It shouldn't just end here. We want to hear your own view, because most of the things said today is our own opinion, and you might have your own opinion, and we probably will learn from that. So please make use of this comment section, and let's communicate. Let's create a community where men can actually express themselves.
Yeah. So so to end from my own end, I feel like you've heard people say something like, "This is how I am. I'm an angry person." All those things are busting from this kind of conversations, emotions. So if you're part of those category, because sometimes I used to be like, I can't talk, I can't do this. But with time, I learned that, I mean, the things that we feel hot about, that when we come, I remember I said to you that you can communicate. Your crying can be your communication. So you can communicate and, have somebody that can hold you accountable, that you can talk to, and then, you can actually feel better doing that. Because sometimes people know what to do. They just want a listening ear and somebody who will not judge them. You understand?
That's it. So this would be the end of our conversation. And at this point, you think you've been able to give the audience what we want. So do not forget, stream, like, share, and subscribe. That's needed. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye. Yeah, ciao.